Creating awareness, people want to see people they know, people they like.
The End Child Trafficking campaign is an awareness campaign that seeks to utilize community theater and documentary filmmaking to highlight the issues surrounding child trafficking as a way of creating a community-based intervention that can curb the vice. In choosing the areas where to roll out this campaign, we critically look at two ends of the spectrum of child trafficking. One is, what are those key districts or communities that have a lot of individuals getting out of them and being trafficked to other districts. And then also we look at points that are destinations of these individuals, whether children going into child labor in the cities, whether individuals that are crossing borders. We have previously been to Palisa, Busia, Gulu, which have been identified as key source areas for individuals that, especially children that are trafficked, and then Kampala and Wakiso that are currently leading as the key destination points for victims of trafficking.
If you're talking about ending child trafficking, let the children tell us. Children are performing what they see at home or wherever. Did you see that witch doctor? I'm like, oh my goodness, look at what happens to children. And to see them do that, and to see the child marriage, and also to see the different themes of what trafficking is being acted out like that. I think it is a very powerful tool, to educate the children themselves, but also the masses out there.
I met Agnes in town. Someone introduced me to her, a very good friend of mine. But fast forward, I think that is something that stuck in my head because of her passion, obviously, for ensuring that this country is rid of child trafficking. And my colleague, Chabagu John Bosco, with whom we went to the fellowship together, an artist as well, who was experienced in theater, also interested me into taking part in this campaign to end child trafficking.
I learned about the End Child Trafficking campaign from a fellow Mandela Washington fellow, John Bosco Chabagu. He talked to me about Foursome, Rest House Uganda, Pakbadi, and the partnership that they have to come together and fight child trafficking using a very unique and innovative approach, which is creative arts.
We chose to work with community theater and documentary filmmaking because, first and foremost, these are the areas where we have expertise. As Foursome Uganda, as Rest House Uganda, which is a documentary film company, and also as Palisa community-based initiative. Largely, the campaign is founded on the networks that these organizations have developed over time, and it benefits from the excellent networks and collaboration that comes out of Yali Uganda and a few other organizations.
you know, visual art and performing art is deeply rooted in the Ugandan culture, so which makes it a no-brainer that the strategy that was to follow, for us to follow, was to engage people through drama in a learner-centered kind of way.
Can you manage to dig? You thought that you can manage to work?
Money.
When we get into the community, we go to the community development officer. After moving to the community development officer, we are able to identify the community-based groups or community-based organizations that we can partner with. Then we create stories. Most of the stories are created by the participant, the community people. Stories are not done from outside or from someone from Kampala or Mars. Every story is created by the participants themselves. For example, when we are working with the young children, after the one-day workshop, the children are able to tell stories that they see, which leads to the performance day.
I'm really impressed by what Fotham, Uganda and Rest House is doing, engaging and ensuring that these children act in all of our creative activations in the community themselves. It's really powerful to see these children put themselves in the shoes of us, the parents, us, the perpetrators and community leaders, to tell us a message that, look, it's not just us, the children, being affected, but even our other members of the community being affected. And the story is so inspiring. And everyone is drawn to see a child, for example, act as a parent, giving her daughter away in marriage.
They take on these stories. They own these stories. They know what is happening in their community. And when they act these stories out in front of an audience that relates to these stories, then that way they can be convicted into ensuring that child trafficking can be ended. And then we go to the markets where it has also been very powerful. For instance, in Busia, people came, even if it was raining, people came together. There was no going away because they could relate to this. They thought, at the beginning, they thought, okay, this is just a comedy group. But when they understood that these are serious issues being channeled through familiar faces, then they could take heed. They could even notice that they themselves are perpetrators of child trafficking.
What we seek to achieve in this is to ensure that we give right messaging about child trafficking, to ensure that the communities are able to explore how it manifests in their communities, whether it's child labor, prostitution, or child marriage, and the like. And our hope is also to begin having a community-based voice that can lead to active policy change at a national and regional level.
We need to learn that we still have a lot of work to do in regards to attitudes of our community members, including ourselves. Because child trafficking is just one form of violence against women and girls, violence against men and boys. Because when we focus on the adults and leave out the children, we are missing a whole generation. We're letting this problem grow. Imagine your own daughter being trafficked into sex work. Imagine your own boy child being trafficked into child labor. It hurts all of us, right? Whether it's a girl child or a boy child, all our children matter.
I believe child trafficking can be ended with all stakeholders, just like a partnership that has come, like myself as a Yali fellow and other colleagues, the alumni and other organizations plus local partners. This, first of all, the starting point has to be accepting that it is happening. Because if we do not accept that child trafficking is happening, we won't know its implications. But by knowing its implications, then we know the seriousness of how we can devise solutions.
We feel that tackling the campaign from both ends gives a better chance of creating larger awareness, both within the communities and even within the policymakers. But also, we strongly believe that a campaign based in the communities gives a better chance of curtailing child trafficking at source points.
Our government needs to proactively take charge. A couple of times we've said we have one of the best laws and policies in this country, but how are we turning these laws and policies to protect our children? How are we ensuring that our children's rights and entitlements by these human rights standards and values, how are we turning them to make them lead dignified lives? So government has a role to play. They shouldn't stop at making laws and policies. They should empower the community leaders, our national leaders, to take their responsibility and fulfill their obligations to children.
What we have really discovered in this campaign since we started is that the child trafficking, people are ignorant about it. People don't understand what child trafficking is. So a lot of awareness is needed. A lot is needed to make the families, homes, children, parents, everyone that is a stakeholder to know what child trafficking is.
As I speak to you now, we are coming to about a year and a half of this engagement, and we are encouraging more resilient communities that can identify, that can proactively take action to report traffickers or victims that are perceived to be facing trafficking, and also to encourage our policymakers to take the messaging coming out of the communities into the process of creating the policies for them.
I believe ending child trafficking is everyone's responsibility.
I believe that it's me and you to join our hands together and end child trafficking.
Nowulira kanyabo nga kakabora embeera gye kayitamu, nowulira kasebo nga kakabora embeera gye kayitamu, babafunza abakyali bato babakusanga njaga, ebibonerezo babawa balinga abaza ogw'obutemu, bambi kyova kasanga ku street nga kakusaba esso, kyova kasanga ku street nga kakaba mazika wabula gwe obutasasira, kalooza kasaddaka nazzikuno babagalanga nazzikuno babafangako, naye abazadde b'ennaku zino tebakyagala kumanya, abazadde b'ennaku zino temukyayagala kumanya bajjajja balugera gyemite mito gyegigomeza ekibira, gyemite mito gyegisaana okulabirwa, gyemite mito gyegisaana ofukirirwa, tusituke tulwanyise buli agikijjanya, tusituke tulwanyise buli agiraba obubi, tusituke tulwanyise abakirabangula anti gyegigomeza ekibira.